like how that sounds, guys. It sounds heavy. You know what? One thing I love more is when you open it, there's a thing that happens to your hand when you touch this handle. I don't know what Mercedes has done, but they've done a great job. Otherwise, welcome to the channel. It's Sibua, and I appreciate that you're here with me today. Look, guys, we have a spectral blue Mercedes GLC 220 Coupe. That's what we have today. If you've been on this channel long enough, you know for sure that we've done the GLC 220d last year. When we did it, it was the normal one. So this is a coupe one. We're going to talk about the differences there of how it feels and so on. But we have a road trip. We have a road trip, and I've heard some good things about Mercedes diesel engines on the highway. And that's something that I want us to experience together today. Because hey, you know what? This is a 2-liter turbocharged mild hybrid system that is good for 145 kilowatts, 440 Newton meters of torque. And I've seen what it does on the open road. I just didn't do like a lot, like the stretch, you know, it wasn't enough. So today we have about, I think we're going to do around 660 kilometers or so on the highway. So it's going to tell us a good story. I've heard that it can go below 5 liters to the 100 kilometers. So I think that's going to, yeah, I think we're going to try and achieve that, because we're going to try and drive, you know, seamlessly. We're not going to rush this thing, right? Because look at it. I mean, I didn't think I like this blue, but hey, especially from the rear. We'll talk about that and more, of course, on the way, because you know how we do it on this channel. We get on the road, we talk about everything else relating to the car. Let's do it. Alright guys, this is where we start our journey right now. This car is packed, guys, packed to the core. Okay, let me close the sunroof. Where are we going? So let's see, it says we have 920 kilometers on this tank, and so far we've done 74 kilometers at 6.9, and that means we were doing what? Mostly extra urban, because we drove it around a bit, and then we were coming from Bryanston side. So now, let me close this blind. Come on, this thing's so sensitive. So yeah, now let's see how we're going to win on this fuel consumption thing. Otherwise, this car, guys, it's, you know what, it's spec'd to, I think, above 200,000 in optional specs that are here, but there's some specs that I think they should have included. And yeah, that's where probably for me it's a little bit painful, because I love that 360-degree camera from Mercedes-Benz. When you actually do the navigator thing and it shows you the way and so on, yeah, that's just something that I enjoy in these Mercedes cars, but it's not here. So we'll make do with what we have, because from visual appeal point of view, I think they nailed it. As much as from outside, probably I would have preferred that multi-spoke 20-inch one. Actually, from outside, even these 20-inch rims that are here, they are optional as well. And I think from far, I used to not like them, but now, I think I'm starting to like them. For some reason, this 5-spoke, I'm starting to like it. And yeah, otherwise, guys, I don't even have a rear view mirror that is functional right now, because for some reason we decided to fill the balloons with helium while we're here, and we're taking them to the other side. So I can't even see anything. But otherwise, that rear window is one of the major differences that you get when you're getting the coupe compared to the normal GLC one, because seriously, you don't really get much from it. As a matter of fact, because now the bum of this car, it has like a raised bum at the back. What you're gonna see then is that actually when a car is like close to you, probably normal distance that a car will park behind you when you are on the traffic light and so on, you're just seeing like a piece of the windscreen on top. You're not even seeing much. So that's why right now I'm not even that much worried. I do have a gap that I can use, but the rear view mirrors, the ones on the side, can actually help me with that. So I think on the highway I will be fine from that perspective, as much as it's not that advisable. But the boot as well, you are losing some space when you are taking the coupe, because I think in the normal GLC you get around 620 liters of boot space, and in here you cut that, it's just above 550. I think I'll just put it on the screen, but yeah, that's what you are losing when it comes to this one. Otherwise I was still talking to those optional extras, guys. I was, yeah, that 360, I'm still, it's still close to my heart right now. I love it in the Mercedes, and I don't think I can ever spec it without it. And I understand sometimes it forms part of the package. I'll probably put the package that includes that here, because this one has Advanced Plus package, which doesn't have that option. When you go higher to the premium one, then you're gonna get that option, and you're gonna pay a lot more than what you are paying on Advanced Plus here. Because yeah, you know, when it comes to options here, this car starts at around, I think, 1.295 million, and now it's spec to above 1.560 right now. So there's a lot of specs that is added here. I'll just show you, because from outside, yeah, again, one thing that they didn't spec from the front, it's those LEDs that were there in the previous GLC. I loved them, and the way that they look, even the DRLs during the day with like a one dash and then two dots underneath. I love that about it. As much as it was the avant-garde variant, this one still looks better from the front, of course, because it looks a little bit aggressive with this MG package. And as well, you know very well that when you add MG package, I think it's going to add around, what, 84,000, somewhere there. Again, everything else, I'll put it on the screen. But when I consider that I wouldn't get this without that package, that one is it's an almost given for me. Then on the outside, you also add the rims, the running boards as well that are there are also optional extra as well. I wish they had put those LEDs to complete the whole thing, but they didn't. Coming inside, there's not really much that I can say I'm complaining about, because everything they've added is actually quite proper. But for me, let me just switch the double like a bit, and once it touches down, then it's gone. But we're going to be seamless about it, like I said, because we want to achieve the best fuel consumption we can. I'm not even going to put it on eco. I'm going to leave it on comfort, because you can put it on sport and it's going to sound like, you know, listen to that. But I think it's coming from the speakers. It's not necessarily coming from the outside, because this is a diesel engine after all. So I'm going to put it on comfort because I like it like that. And yeah, I think eco for me is a little bit too, it's pulling back a bit compared to when it's on comfort. I feel like this is the normal state that I can have it. So from that perspective, I'm going to put it there. But yeah, we still have a long way to go. I think we'll talk about the interior and everything else on the way. So for now, I think let me push a bit and then we'll talk on the way. Let's do that. You see the A-Class in front of me, guys. I don't know if he's thinking I'm chasing. Is it a he or she? I think it's a he. Maybe he's thinking I'm chasing him or something. I'm not doing that. We're on a mission here. If you guys don't know the N1, this is like a national key point that you're seeing in front of you right now. This is the Panorama Petroport, basically. I'm sure a lot of you know this bridge. If you see this bridge, that's where you start adjusting your music. You start saying, you know what, I'm getting there now. I'm heading home. That's just something that we always refer to, we people who stay in Limpopo, when we talk about this bridge. Otherwise, we've passed it now. We're on the way. We're hitting it. And I was just thinking as well, because from inside, one thing that I was really looking forward to, it's going to be a little bit difficult to manage this thing at 129. I think I need to do limit and set it. Let me set it at, not 130. For now, let me leave it at 120 is fine. But yeah, I think from the interior point of view, one thing that maybe I'm not really fond of is this. Is it a wood panel? I think it's a wood panel that they've added here, as well as an optional extra. For me, I always love that AMG one that looks like a carbon fiber. So from the interior point of view, that's just one thing probably that I would change, because when it gets dark in here, yeah, you will see that this thing actually looks the part. I mean, Mercedes never really misses when it comes to that. As much as there's a lot of piano black, like here on the dash and so on, it's something that for me, it's still appealing. As much as I would still prefer that carbon fiber one, the piano black, I'll never complain about it. In fact, I had tested the C-Class that had like a different wood kind of design here on the dash, and because these dashboards are almost the same, in fact they're the same, that looks so much better, and it was going well with the interior that was in there. It was that brownish interior on the parts of the seats in the middle. It was the brownish interior that was actually quite good. I enjoyed that so much. But one thing that I wanted to say is that when you're doing a road trip, when you're on the long journey like this, you want to sit well, of course, and that's one thing that I would never complain about in a Mercedes. As much as this one doesn't have the extenders the way that I prefer them on the under thigh support, they're extended quite enough for you to actually just enjoy the trip without actually being worried that, you know what, I'm gonna feel tired. Because in some cars, when I'm on a long journey like this, I do actually end up feeling tired under the thighs and I need to rest. But for this one, I think you can do quite some distance without actually complaining. And another thing, of course, it is the sound system. Look, GLC comes with probably one of the best sound systems, especially in the Mercedes lineup, because I realized that when it comes to sound systems, not every car within that particular brand would have the same like setup. And in that sense, I find that for Mercedes in the GLC, when you spec it with either the advanced sound system, which the previous one that we tested had, or this one that has the Burmester surround, I find that this one is actually much better. And I think one thing that when I try to remember, when I was testing the CX-30 and we're doing a road trip as well, that sound system was great. I love the Mazda sound system in the Bose sound system, but I remember very well that it's not the same setup in how it is in the car as it is in the Mazda 3. And in the Mazda 3, it sounds much better. So that's probably the same thing that I'm experiencing here in the C-Class, because I had the best experience with the advanced sound system that was in the previous one that we tested, and now in this one as well. And you know I'm going to test it for you at some point. But otherwise, overall, another thing that is a little bit different to the one that we tested previously is that this one has the sports suspension. Again, of course, it's part of the optional packs as well. And that one came with the air suspension, Hermetic as they call it. And it was something else. When you're on comfort mode like this, it was floating much better than this one is feeling right now. As much as this one we can say it's a sports suspension, it's still pretty much comfortable, because my understanding is that it has some dampening element to it. I think we can just confirm that after the video, of course, but I think it has some you know, some adaptiveness to it, not dampening actually, some adaptiveness. I'm not sure what the engineering word is. You guys know better when it comes to these things. I'm sure someone can correct me, but the thing is, it feels, you know, maybe it's this 20 inches as well, because they are low profile tires, and I know that they're great, and I'm okay with right now, because normally with low profile tires you can actually experience a lot of road noise, and this one is pretty much floating well. I'm not finding that it's complaining when it comes to the road noise and so on. But this part of the road as well is the smoother one. There's a part just before Kranskop where then the road is changing, and we're going to experience as to whether it's going to be making a lot of noise in the cabin and so on. But otherwise, so far, the wind noise is well balanced, the road noise well balanced as well. I can't complain much about how it feels right now to be in here from the comfort perspective. And this steering wheel, man, you remember what I said about the handle? This steering wheel is also probably up there in how it feels. And just to touch it like this, and they managed to capture it well, because the ergonomics in here, it's something that for me, I think it works so well actually, because everything that you want to change right now, you don't necessarily need to shift your hand to come here. I'm just used to pressing the screen, but at the same time I don't have to, because these buttons that are here, this touch whatever's that are here, it can control the screen. This part also can control the screen. I don't need to be moving my hands off the steering wheel for anything. To show that they even considered even further, it's the fact that the gear is actually this. In most cars, of course, you need to come down to change stuff, but in here you don't need to do that. In fact, the only thing that you might need to change right now is when you're changing the dynamic modes to go to sport, comfort, eco, and so on. But otherwise, ergonomically, they've done a great job in that, and so far we are comfortable, but we're not far, still going. We'll talk ahead. Let's kick it. So we are passing Carousel now, which is the second toll. We're left with two now, Kranskop and Nyl. But we're forging ahead. Someone may ask themselves, why am I not talking cruise control and talking limit? Look, the thing is, I feel tired sometimes when I'm just putting a cruise control, because this thing is just rolling. This road is like this, straight. And because it's just rolling and rolling, I feel tired, and sometimes the car will come in front of you, and then you find that now you have to adjust your speed, press on the brakes. It makes you drive like an amateur like. And because I tried to check, I see a button for adaptive cruise control here, and I was so excited thinking, yay, here we have adaptive cruise control. I'm not gonna struggle with braking and all those things. But check what happens. Active distance assist not enabled, but can be purchased at a later date. Guys, I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, we just paid 1.3 million, at least, at the very least, Jay. But next they were like, no, you have to pay for it. So I guess that's why then I'm not putting this cruise control thing on, because yeah, it's a little bit disturbing for me, and I feel much better in control when I have my foot on the left, on the right, on the throttle. Let me stop saying things that I don't even know myself. But yeah, basically that's precisely why. And here we are crossing the boundaries now. Welcome to Limpopo. Yep. So yeah, let's keep pushing, guys. I'll probably pay the Burmester for you somewhere halfway, just after Kranskop, because that's where I said the road is going to change in terms of the roughness, and I want us to experience that in that way, because then now it can help us feel as if it can delete all the sounds that are coming from outside, because right now it's just a smooth surface, minimal sounds. The engine is quiet, it's not making noise. One can even mistake this right now to say, are we going to charge it at some point? Because hey, it's a diesel after all. But let's see how far we go. So far we are doing like 6 liters to 100 over the last 138, including that rough drive that we did over the 74 kilometers that we started with. But it's actually quite impressive. But I'm hoping that we can get it to below 5, guys. I hope we're gonna get it below 5, because I'm not doing a lot. Like, I'm just literally limiting it to 129. It touches 130 now and then, but I don't think that should affect the fuel consumption. As well, the aircon right now, we do have it on, but we have to be real here. If it's hot, you're gonna have your aircon on, so we're gonna have to put it on as well. But otherwise, let's push. Let's keep pushing. We'll talk when we get where, probably somewhere at Kranskop, because last time I cut the video at Kranskop, so now I'm gonna stretch it beyond that at the very least, right? Because I know you asked that, you should have completed that video, and yeah, I didn't, but now we're gonna do it. Let's push. Oh wait, it says 971. With our current driving style, it says 971, and from start today it's 5.7. So basically for today we're already winning. Overall we're still at around 6, but for today we're already winning. I'm happy about this. 971. Hey. Woo. Let's see. Move to the left. You know, when these tires are hitting these light things on the road in the middle, I can feel through the sound that actually, yeah, these are low profile tires, eh? And this is where the road is changing. I want you to listen to the change in the sound that it makes on the wheels, like the tires coming in. Yep. Can you hear the difference right now? Because this is where the difference is. This is where normally I start experiencing like loud noises in a lot of cars and so on. And that's something that I wanted to hear in here if it's gonna have that much of an impact. Because, you know, when it comes to tire options as well, it matters what tires are here. I just need to check actually to just confirm as well, because that also does have an impact on actually, you know, I need to change the lanes, but I don't have enough capacity because I limited this thing, and you know, we're doing legal things here, so anyone can abuse you easily. Man, you see that XLT, pretty sure we can chase it on any other day, but this is not that kind of a day, right? And one thing that I've realized right now actually is this part of the N1 keeps going up, hey? Well, I'm looking at it now because I was asking myself, because this has a mild hybrid and it assists because it has this integrated starter generator that is helping you or boosting you when you're putting your foot down, so that it can be able to give you some boost when you're overtaking, when you're picking it up from standstill and so on. But one thing that it also does and helps with, it has this option of coasting with the car, where you'll see that the rev count actually is just sitting at around 0 or just below 0, I think, showing there that it's not actually using the engine, but it's just literally just floating. That's just one thing that I'm not experiencing right now, because I'm looking at the N1 and it just keeps going up. And one thing though, this part of the road, as I thought, it's actually showing some imperfections compared to the other part of it. As I said, that I was expecting that there will be some differences. There is now some bit of road noise that is coming in. I don't think it's disturbing me that much, but because I was in that smooth surface that I was literally just feeling like this car is just floating, now I can feel that I'm driving a car, and I can literally just say, is it the engine, is it the road noise? Trying to listen as to where the noises are coming from. The wind noise is still pretty much the same, of course. I'm not expecting a difference there, but like I said, probably this is the right time for us to hit the Burmester and hear what it's actually all about. So yeah, this track, I think I played it on the previous review and I thought I didn't play it enough. That's why I'm playing it again right now in here. that's how it sounds. I love the balance in this thing. This is just super. Love how it sounds. But one thing, I reduced the volume a bit just so that I can hear if it's actually reducing the road noises, because they're coming quite in right now, and it's definitely because I'm comparing it to how it was back there before we get to this one. And you can feel that imperfections that are coming in, that actually the suspension is not like that hermetic one. The way it's soaking the bumps, it's not necessarily the same. It does well, I have to say it does well, but you do get some vibrations inside more compared to what you would have experienced in the hermetic. And that's where, of course, it's a difference, because this is made to be a little bit more sporty in the coupe one. And of course, like I said, it's the sport suspension. Yes, it is comfortable, but it's slightly different compared to the hermetic one. But should I say slightly like that though? God, I'm lying now. Actually, it's different. Hey, this vlog business, I like it because you're not forced to keep to the standards of reviews, eh? But anyway, we're at Kranskop. Like I said, the last time
Please follow the road for 8
Yes, I will. I promise you I will. So, last time I cut the video here, and I know that we wanted more. So, we're going to carry on, like I said, until we get to Polokwane. And yeah, for now, let's do some little bit of refreshments, and then we hit the road again. We're at 6 liters now from start. I told you that this road is actually going up. So, am I expecting that's going to be better coming back? I don't know, but we do have some downward slopes when we're coming back. So, I guess we'll see. But for now, we're still at 6 liters. I was hoping that by now we'll be like at 5.5. But we are where we are, right? Where we are. Let's park here. Sorry people, I hope there's no one in the back who says you didn't indicate. Yep, like you can see right now as I'm parking, I'm not getting that assistance that shows me around the car and everything else. I don't even have the back, whatever. But otherwise, the rear camera is actually quite good. If I was to put it on reverse now, yeah, it is clear, but you can see that actually this is a little bit too small for my liking, at least. But it's actually very clear. Let's park, turn it off, and we're in. Okay. Alright guys, one thing that probably I forgot to tell you is that this car doesn't have comfort access, and that means you have to press the key every time you're locking or unlocking it. Doesn't have proximity sensor or anything like that. So is it bothering me? You know, the way I was complaining about the proximity sensors and all these things, I'm not even sure if I'm bothered by that. In fact, in which instance do I think it's gonna disadvantage me? I can't think of one right now, but if there's one, probably we'll talk about it in the comments. But otherwise, let's just reverse out now and hit the road. We're just gonna get to the Kranskop toll now, and then we shall be on the way to Polokwane. We're almost there, guys. We're halfway now. Halfway. You see, if this camera had that front thingy, I'm just so, you know, I'll always pack it with that. Let me put it like that. I just love Mercedes-Benz camera systems. I think they're the best in the market right now. And yeah, otherwise guys, yeah, I think let's hit it here. Don't be surprised if you hear some sounds, because you know I'm with my boy and my little sister in the car. So in case the boy says something, don't worry. But something is moving there at the back. But we have a lot of things in the car, so I understand. Let me put it on sport and just pull it for you. Just be naughty a little bit. 6.1 already. We might just be, let's go and see. But it's just shifting quick. Oh, it was changing down. Yeah, I don't think it's changing much from what I've experienced with Comfort, except the fact that, of course, you can see that it's holding gears, lower gears, and now because it's on D6, it's actually showing that it's charging a bit. But let me just put it back to Comfort, because honestly, I'm not sure if it's necessary to put it on Sport like that. And yeah, so far, I think I'm still pretty much comfortable that you can do a lot more kilometers in this without actually stopping. But you know, stopping is just advisable because of course you need to rest a bit at some point. And yeah, I think from that perspective it's quite obvious that we have a grand Touareg here. You know, I think the other German brand, it does have some coupes. I think before they started doing coupes as they're doing them now, they were calling them GT. I think they did have like a 3 Series GT and so on. So this coupe is like they're made for that. But yeah, you know, sometimes we say things and we're unsure and someone will correct me and say, nah, this is the reason why. But for now, I don't think there's a reason. Otherwise, you can see through the sloping roof, of course, that there's some aerodynamic advantage compared to the normal GLC. But otherwise, overall, I'm not necessarily experiencing differences. I think things are moving because we have a lot of things in the car. Don't worry, it's not necessarily the car. I would have said it right away. You know, I don't like things when they are rattling and blah 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 and so on. My car, there's traffic in front of us, but today we have a tag. So if there's the Shesha lane, tomorrow is what? Okay, it's your day off. Yes, I agree. Aibo. Guys, you see at Kranskop there's no tech lane for us to take advantage of the situation that we're in right now. So we're gonna have to make peace with standing the queues. Yes, standing the queues. Guys, those who are looking at this is not alcohol. I know these bottles can appear as if they are, but I can promise you it's just a ginger beer or something like that. Don't want to advertise it. I'm not getting paid for any of this. Let's move. Mara 6.1. I mean, I was driving properly for the last, except that's this little bit that I just did now. Read. Why is it not reading? Where's that card? Why is it not reading? How's that? Eja, why is our little egg? Hey guys, we had a predicament there. The tag didn't read, the card didn't read as well, so it took some time before we can actually get out of that toll gate. And it's not the first time. Once came here, I think I was driving the EcoSport and it didn't read the tag as well. So I don't know why is that. I'm not sure why that is the case, but otherwise we're back on the road. Apparently they can do this thing manually, and that's what they've done right now. They gave me a receipt and I managed to pass through because I didn't have cash on me. I was using the card or either the tag in this case. So yeah, it's one of those. Otherwise we're still pretty much on track, and I'm hoping that we can get there just before 5:30. I'm hoping that we can do that because we're not driving fast or anything like that. Anyway, just ahead of us right now, we are starting the what do they call this thing now? Average speed trap, whatever. I don't know if anyone has ever gotten a what do we call this thing? A ticket from these things, guys. This is where the average speed is starting to count. If I go to the other side quicker than they anticipate 120 would, I'm supposed to be getting a ticket. But I don't know if anyone has ever gotten a ticket from this. I know in Western Cape they work for sure, guaranteed, that I know. But here I'm not even sure about that. Otherwise, you can see now we are approaching Modimolle mountain, and yeah, from there on then we're heading to Polokwane. We're almost there, guys, almost there. Let's go. Yeah, it's only 10 minutes.
I mean 10 meters. That.
Mountain?
Yeah.
10 meters?
Yeah.
Serious? That one? There's no way.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got when the mountain is for the monster truck.
Uh-huh.
Then when you go up the hill, it has to go 1, 2, 3, 4.
You? I didn't know that. Yeah, Bo?
That's the way they said there's a peace sign.
A peace sign? Where? Hmm?
That's the direction.
On the direction. Oh, here. Oh, I think it shows that you need to search for parking. If you want to search for parking, I think. Let's see. You see? It's saying parking along the route. But we are not looking for parking. I guess now we are going straight.
We just parked.
Yes, and now we are no longer parking. You see?
Yes, parking.
Those ones, I think they are fixing their car.
Yeah?
They are fixing their car.
What happened?
I don't know, man. I'm with you in here.
I think it's because of the engine.
The engine? What happened to the engine? Highball. So why do you assume that is the engine?
I think it's because when they were driving, the engine come and disappointed, and then that's why they parked.
The engine disappointed them. Okay. I hear you then.
So how can they park? How they can call them? They take the other end and they come and they
Oh, I see. What about the GPS? Huh? What do you think this guy is using? This one. Is it using the engine? No, you are lying.
Electric motor.
No.
Engine.
No.
What?
Ha! I'm kidding, it's the engine. Say sorry. Oh, wow. Whatever. Oh, wow. 6.5. I'm saying this thing here is 6.5 liters to the 100. I thought we are behaving. Oh. I thought we were behaving, but it's going up. I thought it's gonna go down.
But it's going up.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the car is fast.
Mm-hmm.
So slow it down.
Should I slow it down? No, not yet, man. Hey, this Mini Cooper is flying. car is that?
That one. I forgot.
Ah,
What is it?
it's a Mini Cooper.
Yeah?
Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper?
Yep.
That's why it's speeding up.
Mm-hmm.
But it there's not any spoiler. It's just a car.
So what does the spoiler have to do with the car?
There's speed.
Huh?
A single spoiler.
So when a car has a spoiler, it's fast.
Yeah.
Hey, Vanna, why? So this one, because it doesn't have a spoiler?
When you just drive it fast, it's fast. When you
I don't understand. Alright, so guys, we are now approaching Nyl, which is our final toll gate towards Polokwane, and yeah, it's the most expensive as well. And the issue that we had at Kranskop, I hope we're not gonna have it here as well. But if we have it, I think we will be covered. So either way, it's fine. I'm just hoping that we don't have to do that manual thing and so on. But otherwise, yeah, we are just outside Mokopane basically, and after passing Mokopane, then I think you have like what, 40 to 50 kilometers, then you get to Polokwane, and that will be our final destination for this video. Let's see what's happening here with the, what do they call this thing now, the e-tech. Otherwise, I'll assume that it's no longer reading. If it doesn't read here, yeah, that will be my assumption. Alright. Oh, these balloons are busy rubbing against the thing in there, and they're just making noise.
For no reason.
Yes, for no reason. I don't know why. I don't know why they're just making noise. Cops are looking for someone, Pisty. I'm kidding.
Who?
I'm kidding, it's not the cops. I'll get my card ready, just in case. Or maybe I need to wait a bit. Okay. Now I'm saying Kranskop Plaza, it's the real problem, because it's not the first time that happened to me there. So I think Kranskop Plaza is our real problem. Okay. Okay. We're off now, and what is in front of us should be Sebetiela fuel station, which is the Sasol one. Afterwards, we're gonna have the Caltex one that is at the ranch, and then we're gonna have the Petersburg one, which is the Shell. Then we'll be in Polokwane. But those balloons now are rattling a little bit more than I am liking, so I don't like this. Let me see what is rattling. You know, myself and rattling, we have issues. So So I'll just stop here and see what else is moving.
But isn't it because of the seatbelt? Because the seatbelt is pushing the balloons. That's why the balloons are making you to be saying that is the seatbelt only.
Oh, no, it's fine then. I will see on the way in Pisti. Thank you, ne? Let's go then. Actually, these exterior mirrors are doing quite a good job and giving me like a necessary field of view that will allow me to just see what's happening behind me. Because like I said, the rear screen is just so tiny, and it's skewed because it's sloping, like it's just going this way, and yeah, it's not like it's giving you much. But from the perspective of being on the highway like this, it will actually give you sufficient view. But in town, that's where maybe you'll have problems. But I guess at this point you can hear as well. I did check the kind of tires that I hear is the Continental EcoSport. So if anyone knows about these tires, if they're making a lot more noise than any other tires, maybe one can tell us. But one thing I know is that the more you go, or the lesser you go when it comes to the tire, the more road noise is coming in. As a matter of fact, in the Seatlers, I experience road noise way more compared to this, especially the ones that are fitted with the AMG spec, you know, those very low profile tires that are fitted there. So in here, of course, this is a race vehicle. It's quite high, and the tires themselves are quite big, despite being like a lower profile than what we experienced with the previous GLC. They are not necessarily floating per se, because you do get some feedback in the cabin and so on, but it's well insulated. I have to give them that. It's well insulated. One thing about the GLC, and I did say this before, because this looks like the Seatlers, and I did indicate that in the Seatlers, when you're driving it, there is quite a number of, you know, that squeaky rattles that are happening in the Seatlers. But in here, you rarely get those, as much as you can feel that they are hard plastics. I don't know how, but in the GLC somehow, I'm getting satisfactory feedback compared to when I'm in the Seatlers. Otherwise, guys, I think so far the trip is going well. It doesn't feel like I'm fatigued as much as I was driving before we can even start this trip. Actually, I was actually driving quite a lot, going up and down, so that we can be ready to go. But I'm not fatigued, eh? I'm not fatigued, and that's a good thing, because you need a car to give you that kind of, you know, that kind of comfort when you're on the way. So far, I think we are very much in a good space, myself and this car. I'm warming up to it, and I have to say to you that when the previous generation GLC came out, I always wished to just have it on the road like this and just hit the N1 and see what is it all about. And I'm grateful to God that I can be able to do that today in this new generation. Yeah, that's a plus for me. That's a plus. know, the road was going down somewhere there behind us, and I thought I'm gonna be coasting at some point. I've achieved that in the C-Class, but oh yeah, in the GLC as well. I think I was going towards Harties, the GLC 220, but this one is just locked above 1000 RPM. But what is equally impressive is that look at where it's actually revving right now, as we are doing around 120. It's just below 1.5. Okay, I just I just gave it a boost there because we're going up. But otherwise, I'm just saying, because now it changed down, actually it's not going to give us that. But I'm just impressed as to how this engine quiets down. It goes down quite well. And this transmission as well, the 9-speed, it doesn't, I mean, like, you know what, they've done a great job with this. The pairing is quite amazing from my, like, every time I'm experiencing the Mercedes, it reminds me of well-powered Fords as well with their 10 speeds. It knows when to change, it knows when to go down. I mean, now it's on D8. It's not that bad, still a high gear. And at the same time, you can see it's revving just below 2000 RPM. It's not like it's stressing the engine in any way. And believe you me, we are going up. This is one of those where a lot of cars now, we are starting to do change downs, especially when you get to the one just in front of us there. But otherwise, this one can easily do this. Can easily take this. See, now it's on D9. If there's one thing that I love about turbocharged engines, is exactly that, the ability to just settle. And that's why I said the other time that, you know what, even if you give me a 2-liter natural aspirated, but I know that because of lack of torque, it's not going to give us a lot of oomph, especially when you're going up like this. It's going to be screaming. And this one, look at it now, D9, just below 1500 RPM. We are doing around 120, and it's okay. It's all right. And that's what I appreciate about it. All this, they add to comfort, honestly. They add to how the car feels because of the demeanor that it has, the way it feels as well, you know, the composure that it has as well. I understand now we are on the highway like this, and we are not necessarily taking a lot of cabs and so on, because when you go to Polokwane, it's unlike when you're doing like your Mpumalanga or Eastern Cape or something like that, where you're going to be experiencing a lot of cabs. But you can feel that I'm in a well-composed car. Even when you're turning, it doesn't give you a lot of roll where you need to lean over and so on. The seats as well are hugging you quite well, that you don't feel like, you know what, I'm gonna have issues here. Changing down now, I mean, we are going up now. Now we are going up. I'll be shocked if it's not, because this is where a lot of cars are struggling. But in terms of acceleration, as much as the engine now, it's making a noise just above 2200 RPM, and it's probably still managing to, it can still, if I put my foot down right now, it can actually take this car way higher when it comes to the speed. But like I said, you know what we're doing here. We're here on a mission, and we're doing it legally. We're not doing it any other way. But let's see now, there's a truck here. Otherwise, guys, the configuration here is what I prefer, which is this. It's called the Classic. And if you were to change this, you will get like your navigation here, which shows the navigation or the assistance in this case. What are you doing? Oh, this is like a monkey or something. And blue lights as well. Yo, those things are quick. You can hear some chipstones just coming through when they pass. Okay, now off-road. I think you can get off-road in all GLCs. Doesn't need to be off-road based, but you know there's a 4MATIC, right, which means it's a four-wheel drive, and you can actually take it off-road. And if you want to see that, you can go to our previous GLC review. I'm already on 136. I didn't even notice because this thing is just flowing. I mean, now we're going down a bit. And then you can also check your service. When do you need a service? How far is the coolant temperature, engine oil level, I mean your AdBlue, which is actually supporting you on the mild hybrid system as well. And you can see now that, yeah, we are in good shape. But I don't prefer any of this. Look at this spot. It changes this, and because now of course we are not necessarily in a dark place, but you would see sometimes that it matches as well with the ambient lighting, because you know ambient lighting in here is quite amazing. And understated, it's just this purple. I love the purple ambient lighting, but this doesn't sit well with me. I don't know, it doesn't look nice, but I prefer to just keep it on classic. I mean, it feels like analog. I'm that kind of a guy who prefers that. But let's push through. We're almost there now. I think in 34 kilometers we will be in Polokwane, and yeah, we'll do some closing remarks very soon. We enjoyed being together, but our trip is gonna end at some point. Let's push through. Okay guys, this should be our final stretch, because we just literally 10 kilometers from Polokwane now, and once we get there, we're done with our part. I think I can turn off the aircon now. Nah, pisty. Okay, that's fine. Let's go. Hey, these balloons at the back. Yeah, it's fine, just leave them. Alright guys, so we are now just 10 kilometers from Polokwane, and in fact I don't know why it's 10, because it's literally just on the next off ramp. You will already be in Polokwane there. So as you see, Tabombeki Street is just like 1.2 kilometers from where we are now, and that is already Polokwane. But we're gonna just get into Polokwane and then find a way to go to the other side of it, because we're going north. Otherwise guys, it has been a great journey with you, and thank you sisters. I will turn left. So it's been a great journey, and I think you saw how the GLC performs on the road. I think for me it's probably one of the best long road cruisers. Like, it can actually give you a lot of satisfaction on the road. I understand why a lot of people would even go for this and not necessarily the 300, because for normal everyday driving you don't necessarily find yourself lacking power in any way, despite this then being like much less powered car compared to the, I think it's the 190 something kilowatts in the 300. So that's quite punchy and powerful. Of course there will be instances where you need that, but in this case then I'm just of course going into Polokwane, and I'm thinking if I was to choose between this and the normal GLC, look, I love boxy shapes, and that's just something about it. But I have to admit that this actually looks very cool. It looks quite cool. Guys, this, like I said, the balloons at the back, they keep rattling, but don't worry about them. It's not the car, like I said. If there was anything else that was rattling in the car, for sure I would have felt it by now, because I do get proper feedback from the steering wheel as well. Vibrations are minimal. Like I said, these tires that are here are low profiles, and from that perspective, of course, you can't avoid much. But like I said, if I was to choose between this and the GLC, personally, because of the shape, I would go for the normal GLC, and also considering that you do lose some aspect of practicality in this car. I mean, it has a sloping roof. When you get in at the back, I'm like 1.7. I do get sufficient space. Even behind my driving position, I still get sufficient space from that perspective. I understand this is slightly longer compared to the normal one, but the roof itself, if anyone is taller, probably, but I think even someone, I've seen some videos where people are like 1.9 and they manage to get in and not necessarily touch the roof with their heads. So from that perspective, I think it's just going to be a matter of which one are you choosing, and also remembering that this, I think, starts, I'll just confirm the price for the other one right now, but this starting at 1,295,000, and the other one starting below. It's going to give you that, you know what, I don't know which one I'll go for in that case, because yeah, when I'm looking at this, it's gonna be about style, nothing else, because it's a little bit more expensive. But otherwise, we started thinking we're gonna be getting something less than 5, because we were very conservative in the way that we were driving. But hey, I'll settle for 6.2. It's probably one of the best return that I've gotten on a car of this size. From reset, the same thing, 335 kilometers done. From start today, 264 done, and they are both at 6.2. So I'd say the system is a little bit accurate, but it says we can still get 736 kilometers. That means we're still going to go back to Pretoria with this tank, and it's still going to be left with more. I'll probably just do a clip when I get to Pretoria as to how far is the fuel tank, but I'm quite impressed with it right now, because we still have like what, 53 kilometers to do, and from there on we're going to stop. But otherwise, quite impressive what this thing can do, especially on the road like this. And yeah, we're just getting into
okay,
town.
let me interfere a bit and give you the final result, because this thing is mind-blowing when it comes to fuel consumption. I mean, we went back to Pretoria on the same tank. I think when you got to Pretoria, it was left with, I think, close to 400 kilometers on that same tank. And what you're seeing right now is our final stretch that we were doing. And we had done, I think, 860 something, 860 plus kilometers. And it was still left with around 230 on the range to go. So I think this car can really do 1,000 kilometers on one tank easily. And I'm quite impressed with that, because the last stretch that I'm doing right now, I was driving it on Eco, and for the last 40 something kilometers, it was actually averaging below 5 liters. So Mercedes didn't lie. It was averaging 4.7 liters, and that's when I was doing that coasting thing that I was telling you about. So they didn't lie, guys. I think this is one of the most frugal cars that you can get on the road right now. Well done, Mercedes.
And yeah, we're just getting into town now. We're going to just be maneuvering around and get to the other side towards north. Otherwise, what an impressive machine this is. I think for me, I besides the price, and you starting to ask yourself, am I the target market from there on? I don't see how this is not one of the best traveling experiences that you can have. I understand you can put it with the competition as well. They will come with their own. I mean, the neighbors as well, BMW, X3, X4. I love those cars. I love them a lot. And I can't say in any way, shape or form that this is blowing them out of the park. But at the same time,
there's a certain experience that you're getting when you get with the Mercedes as well, especially with the layout and everything else. And when you're traveling with it as well, because the only thing that you're going to need is the aircon controls. You can see that they sloped it like this way so that it comes to the driver. Even the way that the dash is shifted, it's more focused on the driver. It's actually quite easy to do a lot more just sitting in this car, and that's something that I appreciate about it. But yeah, I think from my side, that's the experience that we had. And guys, when you see this bridge in front of you, you know for sure that you made it to Polokwane. And with that said, we thank God for our travel mercies, and thank you so much for being here with me today. Really appreciate it, and I am out.